Friends, for all of those who, I'm sure you've all seen her on our TV screens for the last 18 months. Yeah. Social activist, politician, an ex-television journalist and anchor on Star News, and the face of the Aam Aadmi Party, Shazia Ilmi.
Thank you so much. I'll sit and talk.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep all of you away from food, and I know just how important it is to just grab a bite when you're ravenous. So I'll make it really short. First of all, it's really an honor to be here. And all of you young Indians, a round of applause for all of you, because I think you deserve it. You are the future. And I think it's amazing the way citizens are getting engaged in the process of nation building. I think all of you have a huge responsibility on your shoulders. As we go ahead, I think we should work towards a better India, we all talk about it, but a more transparent India, a more accountable political class, and yes, also a more responsible middle class and upper class. So we have to work towards that. Corruption, as you know, as per a report, takes away almost 16% of our GDP. Now that's a huge figure. Think of the black money that we talk about. Think about the difficulties people have in investing. Just, like we said earlier, we're not against capitalism. We're against crony capitalism. We're against fraudulent pricing. Transparency and accountability are key pillars of governance. So it's extremely important that we ask for the best standards from all those around us and even from ourselves. I think corporate India has done a fair lot and would also like to participate in these processes of, of whether it's making a political class accountable or even a bureaucracy accountable. I don't want to speak too much, but you know right now, and I don't want to talk about like a left liberal about only 25% of India having access to drinking water in their premises. About almost half of India having to defecate out on the streets in the open, where Brazil and Bangladesh probably has only 7%. So we do lag behind in many, many ways. Our social economic indices on certain counts are abysmally pathetic, almost shameful. We all have to work towards a vibrant India, a dynamic India. We stand for and believe in good corporate practices. We stand for ethical practices. And I think all of you in your own way, because you're young, because you're idealistic, because you want to do better, because you care for others, I'm sure you will go out there, seek more from the society and also from yourself. It's always payback time, and you know, we have to give back. And only when you give back, you get a lot. So it's one of those intangible that you have. I've been part of the corporate world. I worked with Star Network, which was part of Rupert Murdoch empire, and then it became ABP News. So thank God for that job, because I can survive now, you know, because I don't get paid for what I do. So it's important to have ideas for wealth creation, job creation. If you don't have money, how will you distribute it? So every time when we look at resource allocation, we just keep getting stuck between the binary, capitalism and socialism. I think we have to go beyond that. I think, as Arvind says, and I endorse that, we have to look for evidence. Wherever there's evidence of a system working well, in one country or two or five, in a certain situation, we should take it. Dams, for instance, there's some people who are anti-dams, so they won't have dams. There's some people who are pro-dams, but it's case-to-case basis. On the bed of Bhagirathi River, maybe it's not a good idea. But many places, dams are needed. So it's case-to-case basis. FDI in retail, in some states, probably not needed, but clean and constructive FDI, FDI in infrastructure, FDI in retail also in some states might be needed. So let's make a case based on evidence. Let's do a cross-sectoral study on these extremely important questions that haunt us today. Which way do we want to go? Let's ask tough questions and demand answers. And I think, I don't want to say much about Aam Aadmi Party, but at least certain holy cows have been questioned. Certain demons are out there to be attacked. People are asking questions. They're seeking answers. Instead of having an enraged citizenry, we have an engaged citizenry. So I think that is the idea. Including more and more people in the processes of legislation. No, laws cannot be made on the streets. But when laws are made that impact all of us, we should be stakeholders. We should be participators in those decisions. So just more access, more inclusiveness in the decision-making processes of a body is what we ask for. And we would like all of you to give ideas, whatever you have, and write to us on a regular basis. And yes, you have a lot to achieve. So all the best, young Indians. From
An issue which sort of hurt me personally, the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal have sort of symbolized straight talking and talking to the point, not being populist, not saying what people want to hear, but speaking the truth. On the issue of the Khap Panchayat, when questioned, Arvind sort of definitely soft-stepped the issue and said that they serve a cultural purpose, which again is something which everyone says, and which for any, I think, modern, upright thinking citizen of the country is a very hurtful statement coming from somebody who you expect to be
Sure, I'll take
a
that.
visionary.
Now, for instance, what is Khap Panchayat? They call themselves Khap Panchayat. They can call themselves anything. They can call themselves Pap Panchayat if you ban them. They can call themselves anything. As leaders, as citizens owing allegiance to the Constitution that allows freedom of assembly, one cannot ban anything. So the panchayats, you can't ban any panchayat. They just call themselves that. If two members of a Khap Panchayat want to meet up and share a hookah, nothing can stop it. But any diktat of Khap Panchayat or any panchayat which is unconstitutional, which uses force or coercion, is absolutely, there are no takers for that. So this is, we hear Khap Panchayat, we see red. The whole lot of bodies, including Khap Panchayat, who give most offensive diktats and unconstitutional in nature. So we have a problem with the diktats of Khap Panchayat, which are unconstitutional in nature, and not just the name Khap Panchayat. So I think that there needs to be a clarification. And if you just maybe do a search, this is what we went to say. We said we can't ban anything. The next headline would have been, they ban general social bodies. Next time there'll be a kitty party, we say, oh, something horrible was discussed there, that dowry death is good, let's ban it. So the idea is anything that is unconstitutional, anything that violates the rights of an individual, or a gender, or a community, is absolutely condemnable. So there is no way anybody in Aam Aadmi Party, including Arvind, endorses the diktats and the unlawful nature in which Khap Panchayats carry themselves out.
Great, thank you, Shahzad. Very happy to hear that clear view from you on that front. Friends, I know all of you have tons of questions to ask, so I'm going to open the floor to the audience. Please just raise your hand and short, crisp questions.
No, let Arnab do the asking. You all eat. Enjoy yourselves.
No, so short, crisp questions and no statements, please. We know your views are very important, but not right now, with all due respect. Yeah. So we'll keep it at that. Yeah. So any questions in the audience? Okay. So okay. We'll let Malika, sure.
My name is Malika Himmat Singha, and I'm an AAP believer. What I'm asking is, what is the one thing where you think Aam Aadmi Party has gone wrong? Because you all are definitely not where you were in the eyes of the people, in the eyes of the media. So you all have always been brutally honest. So do you think you've gone wrong somewhere?
I think, from an Andolan, we became a party. A new party, we're still a fledgling party. And then suddenly we had this massive task of fighting national elections. I think the scalability, our structures and processes could not, let's say, match up to the need of scalability that the situation demanded. And so the process got a bit subverted, which should have been there. So I think those are some things we should have taken care of. But also I would like you, for a sense of generosity, we admit we've made mistakes, and there are a lot of things that we could have done better. But we've given so much time to others. Please look at our intentions. Yes, if you find us wanting, and where probity is concerned, corruption is concerned, please come and we will give up our public lives. But on other issues which are more a matter of style than substance, more a matter of form than content, please be generous. And I would really like to appeal for more patience where we are concerned. We are evolving too. We are learning. And we are part of you. We get a lot of ideas. We say we don't know enough. So my appeal to you would be that. So I think because the processes are still getting made, because the structures are there, are yet not there that should be working, in perfect unison with scalability, there have been certain areas where we've been found wanting.
Gentleman in the back, in the white. Right. Just shout it out.
My question to you is, in the first few days of your office, assuming the state of Delhi, the first decision that came was subsidy. Subsidy on electricity, subsidy on water. My take on that is, what is the economics? As you said, on a personal note that you said, that you had a backup of your job, of your corporate, you had the funds backup so that you could do a
What I
job
wanted to do.
which is
Sure,
not paying.
I think, yeah, I got the idea of, I've answered that many times. Please read up. When we're talking about 200 crore subsidy for only the first 3 months, before the CAG audit, the report could come out, and out of which 160 crores would actually be not paid by the state government, but be a part of the area owed to the government by a certain corporate. We're looking at only 40 crore subsidy in place, and that also for a very small period. Please, if you just study the subsidies and what has happened to this country by these big parties, you'll be shocked to know that this is not even, you can't even call it a tip. This will be, 1/1,000,000th of even a tip of the iceberg. I think this whole subsidy culture, whereby, and all these populist promises, which keeps ensuring certain governments back in power, it needs to stop. Real answers have to be given. Even in those 49 days, as far as water is concerned, the amount of water that is being shown on paper, and it's not going to the people, and there is an obvious case of some mismanagement. So if you're making a water feasibility report, if you're looking at non-revenue water, so just imagine, out of all the water that is being produced on paper, half of it is non-revenue water. So you want to know what is happening to non-revenue water, which doesn't give you any money. Out of which, according to RTI, so half of it is actually getting lost. So obviously there is a problem of corruption and inefficiency. We are bringing light to that. For the first time, somebody's even talked about water, electricity meters. Somebody's talked about CAG audits. These are great signs. Otherwise, things are done, we don't even come to know. We are bothering Arvind Kejriwal for these 3 months of 60 crore subsidy or 40 crore, but look at the larger picture. So I feel sometimes we are extremely ill-informed about how our governments are run.
Brother, I'm going to request you
yeah.
that we keep it to one question, not a debate.
Please read about it. Please read about this.
Okay.
And I'll take your number and I'll deal with this
lady in
question
front, right.
in detail.
My name is Sonali Jain. It's a very personal question to ask for Aam Aadmi Party. You talk about transparency and you talk about ethics and you talk about how your party stands for everything that's true and ethical. I think the sheer fact that Aam Aadmi had said they would not partner with Congress or BJP if they did not get a majority, and still after elections when they did not get the majority, they partnered with Congress, whose ideology they don't believe in at some level, and they wanted to overthrow.
Sure.
They actually partnered with them to come into power, and then
Sure.
lasted just
Sure.
49 days.
Yeah, sure. I've been asked this question about 1,000 times. So this really was the idea. We went all alone, independent. People wrote us off. Our obituaries were written. Every channel said the most generous ones would give us 9 maybe, but it was 6 to 8, And we came into, not really in power because we got 28 seats, so we didn't have a clear majority. And what happened at that point of time? We clearly refused. There was a whole lot of pressure by the same parties, which now blame us. Congress readily gave us
The question
support.
is not about Congress giving support.
listen
the
to
question
me.
is about you taking support.
Yeah, I'm answering that. The debate all over was, why are these people running away? Their promises are unrealistic. If you recall even one conversation, any newspaper.
Excuse me.
I'll finish your.
Did you hear my instructions initially? Yeah, we're not interrupting speakers.
So yes, it was a very tough call for us. Had we not taken Congress support, a lot of people who voted for us would say that if you have a chance to perform, at least show them. And had we taken it, we would have said, oh, we've gone back on, we actually didn't have much to deliver. We were just fluffing, faffing, so this is it. And there was a lot of pressure. And BJP actually said, oh, they're running away, हमें तो support मिल नहीं रहा है, आपको तो मिल रहा है, करके तो दिखाइए. Congress said, what is scaring you? We had an internal meeting. Arvind was totally against it. But our own volunteers and people who voted for us, there was indeed a lot of pressure. So this is when we went from constituency to constituency. It was a very hard decision for us to take. And I'm saying this in all honesty.
Shazia, I'm going to ask you one last question, which I think a lot of people want to know, is that the Aam Aadmi Party is now going national, recruiting hard across a lot of constituencies. I'm not going to exact number. How does the party ensure that the people you're signing up to be your contestants across constituencies have the same values as you?
Now, this is the crux of the matter. I think this is the most important question. When you go out there on a tough plank, hard as nails, talking about transparency, ethics, and corruption, you have to ensure that the candidates who we put up are not corrupt. So we have said, we've had a three-level one is a search committee, and there are two other layers that work, which actually at local level and state level. And also we have national representatives who go and check out the antecedents of all the candidates. But even then, if we come to know, until the last minute, because we're putting it up on the website, if anybody has a problem, till the day of nomination or even after the nomination, we are ready to cancel it. We are ready to, like it happened in Rajouri Gardens. We actually contested 69 seats. After the nomination was done, the candidate there, we found a case of a dowry, some dowry case which his wife had filed. And it was a serious charge. It was brought to our notice only after the nomination. We actually let the seat go empty. So you have to take a strong decision. Yeah, you lose a candidate. Yes, we should have done our due diligence earlier. But the minute we got to know, so there is no chance. We say either have fast-track courts, and if these politicians say 1/3 of parliamentarians have serious charges of corruption against them. That's as per ADR, you know, the report, the agency that actually looks at the affidavits. So some of them say they're frivolous. We are saying have a fast-track court, get that thing, you're parliamentarians, have a bill to that effect and make it a law, and absolve yourself and then contest. So anybody with a serious charge of corruption or a criminal charge or misconduct with women, which we have added, if there is any such thing, there is going to be, it's non-negotiable, and they will not be allowed as candidates in our party. That is a promise of the party.
Thank you, Shazia. Friends, I'm sure there are lots more questions, but as they say, lots more questions, lots more answers to be sought, but as they say, ummeed pe duniya kaayam hai. I think AAP for us has given us that ummeed at some level. It's given us that hope that there is scope for big change, and each of us can make a difference. I think in Arvind and Shazia and the rest of the gang, we see that passion, we see that delivery. So thank you, Shazia, for being here. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.